Hi, my name is Sandra from Crafts of Ireland, and today I want to introduce you to the old Irish craft of Lumra work. So Lumra work is similar to locker hooking. It's where wool roving is taken and lifted through canvas with a special hook. The hook is similar to a crochet hook, but has the eye of a needle on the other end. The colours of wool traditionally used in Ireland were all natural colours, undyed fibres, and you can see from what we have here on the table that Irish wool does come in a beautiful range of colours. We have 4 shades here, and if we separated out our fleeces, there would be a number of other colours as well. So the material that's used is undyed natural wool fibre, and this is worked into a piece of mesh canvas. Originally, it was also suggested that old Hessian sack bag was used and that it was used as a background for the work. So we have a woven rub canvas here, a light rub canvas that we use for the background in our kits. And the only other thing that you need is some thread, and I did bury some in here. We have it. So in the olden days, when recycling was the norm and not something that we were being encouraged to do, people would have taken thread from the top of farm bags and feed bags, flour bags that came in for the kitchen, and they would have reused that thread for various other projects. So that's why we're using thread, because traditionally it was thread that was used. You can use yarn as well as the what's used for the locking of the fibre in the canvas. These are 2 samples from some early pieces that I was taught how to do, and this would have been a very old traditional design, the tea cosy, and I would appeal to many because of being an Irish cottage. And the second piece that I did when I learned to do it years ago was this bag, and a slightly more modern design because a lot of the designs that were used were more geometric. So I had a little bit of fun with this one. And of course, there's a sheep and it has a bum on the back. So that just gives you an idea of the variation of patterns and projects that you can complete. And in our new launch of these kits, we will have a cushion, Christmas stocking, a glasses case for a beginner's project, and 2 wall hangings. And as we go along, we'll be adding further pieces. So I'm just going to quickly show you how the craft is done. When you purchase a kit, you will find the correct amount of fibre in the correct weights in the box. You will have your canvas cut to size, and then you will have a grid or graph pattern that will be used to make the item, whatever pattern is on it. So join me and we will start, and I'll show you how the craft is actually done. So I've just taken our most basic, easiest pattern to show you how it works. So this is our glasses case, very simple design on it, just the 2 colours. This is our pattern, which quite clearly shows you the different shades where they're used on it. And then there's the numbers on the side to show you what size the piece is. Because it's a double piece, the easiest thing to do is to fold it in half. It saves stitching the bottom. So the first thing when you get your canvas as well is you have to fold in 3 squares. So I'm just taking the canvas and bending it over on the line where we have 3 squares on the outside, and then just fold it over. That ensures that your canvas doesn't ravel when you are working on it and that your piece remains secure. You could not actually work out to the edge because it would fray by the very nature of being woven. So you have 2 options then. You can actually stitch your canvas in place to hold it. You want to make sure that all your holes in the corners where the 2 sections cross are aligned properly so that you can work up through them. And then if you want to, you could take your needle and thread. There's a needle and thread. Everything you need is in the kit, so it's very straightforward. You can take your needle and thread and you can stitch those canvas into place by just running some stitching on that outside edge where they're going to cross. So hold it in place and work your way down. Now, I do admit that on occasion, for a smaller piece, I do cheat and I just work straight into it. But if it's your first time and you want to be sure that everything is aligned perfectly, you can stitch your piece and it will create a really clean edge to work. So that's the first thing that you're going to do, is stitch right around, folding in 3 squares on every side. So when you have that done, then you're ready to start doing your Lumra work. So I'm just going to end that there so you can see where. Come around, I'll do the same on this side. 1, 2, 3. fold in on that line, especially on the corners. Make sure that your squares are very neatly aligned and that you can work through them. So you just want to make sure that they're all nice and flat, and then you can start your your locker hooking. So we leave that, and I'm going to leave that, and I'll show you how the stitches are actually made from the other end. I just want to unhook that needle. I don't want to stick myself with it. So this is our locker hooking needle. As I said, it looks like a crochet hook with the addition of an eye on the end. So we're going to put a thread into it. So we're going to thread our needle, and you can use a nice length of thread, longer than you would for stitching. And you're going to thread it as you would a needle, straight in. That's it. Now, your fibre is going to come in a carded bat. So this is, the white wool is from our own sheep, so this is Roscommon wool, and it's carded into a bat. So you need to make it into what would be known in wool terms as pencil roving. So you need to make it into thin strips. So I find the easiest way to do that is to hold the fibre and gently pull it till you get it to the thickness that you need without pulling too far. Just keep doing that repetitively. Because this is shorn and not commercially processed, on occasion you might have a little bit of double cut or something in it that you might need to pick out, or there could be a lock that just didn't want to open fully, so you can give that a little pull as you work along. You can see the way it will pull off nice and neatly. So I do tend sometimes to do this full process before I start. I'll make this then wind it up into a little ball, and I can work away with. So this is our pencil roving, and that's ready to work. So I'm just going to break a small bit off so that I can show you how joining works. Okay, so we'll just take this section, and I have my needle. So your fibre is always at the back of your canvas, behind where you're working. So this is your front and the fibre is behind. You put the hook through, and generally what I do to start is I thin out the fibre and fold it over so that I don't have a tail or an end left. You then lift a loop of fibre through, and you're going to thin this so that it's all equal in thickness. Then you continue to do that, put your hook through, catch, lift. You continue to do that along for whatever number of stitches is required. As you get more used to it, you'll be able to do more stitches. Then you're locking it in place, taking your needle and you're pulling that thread through, leave a tail of thread. You're going to continue to do that. The one thing to be careful is that when you restart, that you don't actually pull too hard on your last stitch, or you may cause it to drop. So you just want to be conscious of that stitch as you work along. We're going to continue to lift. So this craft started in County Wexford in the early 1900s and was practiced extensively throughout Ireland, was shared among ICA guilds in particular, and at different stages visitors to Ireland saw the craft and brought the skills to America and Australia with them. I've just reached the end of a row. Now I have two options here. I can lock it if I want by just going into the last loop, pulling it through and making a loop. So I can lock that in place there, and that prevents that row from moving. Just again, be careful there. And I am ready to turn and go back. So I'm almost at the end of this bit of fibre. So I need to add in some more. So what you do at that stage is you splice it, you pull the tail end out thinly, take your next piece that you're going to work with, pull it out thinly, lay them alongside each other, and together they will form the same width as the piece you've been working with already. So as you go along, you're just going to be picking up the same size of fibre. And that is it. We need to make sure where we splice that we get a join on both of those. It's coming into it now. And there we go. We're now on to our new piece. and we're going to continue. But that is why I will generally get all the fibre prepared before I start, so I don't have to add too many joins in, and it just saves a little bit of work. So again, I've gone over, pull my needle through, and I will continue doing that, following each grid, each square on the pattern. So if I was doing this, I have 3 rows that are all white before I introduce some black. There's a number of ways that you could do this. You could start here and work your way down in the black and complete all of that, and then come back, and what I would do is do the white on this side, the white on the other side, and then continue to make a piece, because the back is all white, continue then down with white till you reach the end. So as you work along, the one thing that you're going to have to do, I crochet a lot, so I sometimes have a tendency, if you do crochet, to hold the fibre in the same way as I crochet, so I can work nice and quickly along. So when you are coming to the end of your locking thread, you will need to add in additional thread. So I have found that the easiest way, if I buried it under the fibre, the easiest way to do that, because the thread is fine, if you put a secure knot in it, you can actually knot one piece of thread to the other. So I'll take my new thread, and this is the tail that I've left. So I'm going to cross them over each other, wrap the one on top, the left one, under the right one. So I have my 2 threads. I then take the right one and put it under the left one. And because this is a mercerized cotton thread or soft cotton thread, it may slip. So I put it under twice, get a secure knot. So I'm just going to put it in through a second time. That will help secure it and keep it tight. And then I am going to pull it, and you can see it's a good secure knot. And once I pull that thread really tight that it won't open, I can cut off my 2 knots or 2 ends quite close to the knot, rethread my needle, and I'll just show you that it does work perfectly. So I have some fibre left here. It's easier if you can leave your table nice and clear, because you don't want the fibre that you have got ready to get tangled in anything, because it will stretch it. So I'm just going to go to the end of what would be this row, and there again I'm going to pull it through, and the knot has gone through cleanly. So you can see where the knot still is, but it's pulled through cleanly because it's quite a large loop. So I found that to be the most effective way to actually join in thread. Alternatively, if it doesn't work for you, you can drop your thread, the tail of your thread that you have left, if it was that piece, and as you work your next rows, you will actually cross it and you can lock it into place. So your old tail will be there, your new one will be beside it. When you work over it, if it's in the middle somewhere, you'll be working and you will still lock it into place. So that's just a quick tip on how to join if you're using a cotton thread, and you can tie a nice secure knot in it. So that should make doing your work a little easier. So that quickly is how you make or do the actual craft itself. And we're just going to get to the end of the next row. So if I was coming back over and I wanted to start a new color, I have 3 rows, so I will do my 3rd row, and then I'll pick up on my black, put in the entire glasses, and as I said, then work both sides of it, and that will get me doing the piece without crossing colours and any additional work. So it'll keep it nice and easy. So when you get your piece made, it's going to be in a long strip. You're going to have it done continuously. You just fold it over, and then where the canvas is meeting on the sides, you can just overstitch the 2 sides together, and that will join your front and back together, and that's your case complete. You could add a wee lining to it if you want, and that is how the work is done. So thank you for joining us for this video, and we look forward to sharing more of our craft projects with you.